all these ones don't have poles anymore. The black witch, that's the new one too. The purple witch and the pirate I got from Max, the one with the light up eye. I need new poles again because all those are broke. Like the witch was corroded, the pirate fried, and the purple witch's board snapped in half. And yeah, it sucks. Okay, so here's both of my floating chained reapers. This was actually the first one that I got, and this is the second one I got. This one I think I got in 2016, and this one I got in 2017 or 18 already. But yeah, the reason I got a second one was because this is the one that was pretty much brand new in the box, almost never used, in great shape. So I kind of wanted to leave it that way so it wouldn't get ruined, and but I also wanted to have one to use, because this one's unique. It has a one-of-a-kind soundtrack, and the floating pattern is so unique. Like the way it resets back to the top, it's programmed to do it a different way that the other floating ghosts don't do. I mean, most have the laughing, screaming soundtrack or the moaning, but these ones, again, the way they reset back to the top is just so, like, unique. Anyways, but however, this is the one that's always been in the box, and look, it's yellowed. It's hardly ever been out of the box, and you see it's yellowed, and this one's clean. See? Makes no sense. It doesn't matter if they're new or not. They're still gonna have issues even if they're not used much. This one I've had to replace the string already. Like, it snapped the first day of our display last year, 2019, and then I've replaced the string, and it snapped again 2 hours later. So I'm telling you, this is the reason why these things are so damn rare, because people just all of them except for the Grim Reaper Ghost and Friendly Ghost snap. Those are the only three that don't snap, literally, because the rest of them, they just designed them in a way where, you know, that you just couldn't give them really long string unless the female ghost you can, but they made some models with short string that snap. But my point is, none of these would be as rare if they wouldn't have made them good, like the Ghost and Grim Reaper and all those. That's the reason the Grim Reaper Ghost and Friendly Ghost are so common, is because those are literally the only three that never usually snap. I mean, those ones were sold every year as well, but some of these, like this one was a Michaels exclusive, and it was only sold in 2007. So yes, it is rare. However, a lot of people who bought these to use them back then, they wouldn't last very long. They would last like a week of constant use, and then the string would be broken already. So that's the problem. That's the reason a lot of these are so hard to find. Like, look, this Black Witch I got off eBay just this last August. And the string broke on the first day of our display as well. And who knows how much the other people used it even. We don't really know how much, but if anyone bought these and didn't know how to fix them, they just threw them away. It could have sold to someone who wouldn't know how to fix it, and then they would have thrown away. However, unfortunately, I opened this up and found out it's freaking corroded on the inside, so it doesn't work anymore. I got that pirate one with the light up eye from Max during the meetup. That one fried during our display, so that one doesn't work anymore. The Purple Witch, the board snapped in half. And I have like 3 or 4 other bodies that don't have a pole. So I'm out like 6 poles. And so I'm going to need help trying to find new poles for these. I mean, I do have 3 of the white ghosts currently that are on a pole, I think. But all these are the laughing, screaming ones. I swear, those ones are the worst ones designed ever. Because those ones are the ones that always have so many problems. Anyways, but yeah. Point is, replacing the string in these is not difficult. It is pretty easy, but a lot of people back then just didn't know how to do that, so they just threw them away. Which is why some of these are so rare. So I just like the Phantom. I bet the the floating Phantom is considered one of the rarest floating ghosts, but I don't think it would be as rare, because that's another one that snaps too. Again, all of them except for the 3 I mentioned. That's why. They would be slightly more common if they didn't have these issues, but yeah. So I just, to think about how many probably got thrown out by people who just didn't know, just really, really, because again, it doesn't take long. Anyways, I'm going to show them in action. I don't think I have batteries in the light up eyes on either of them. Yeah, no, I don't. But you get the idea. The eyes would glow. But there is a difference between the two. This one, the top part, like this cloth goes like around it. But this one, it goes over it. So it's weird. Like these two are both different. Like, I'm not sure why, but yeah. Anyways, the batteries aren't fresh in this one. But yeah, here we go. Oh, the heck? See, again, I love the way these ones reset. It's just so unique and interesting. And they actually look at, I put lawn strain in that too. And like if that was like one like that with the Laughing Screaming soundtrack, you could not put a string that long in it. That's why they snap. I'll show you. See, again, when they oh, it didn't do it yet. Sorry. When the heads go up like that, that's what causes them to snap. But there's nothing you can do, because you have to give some of them short string. Otherwise, they just go down more and more. Like if they would have given them a relay switch and so that they would stop when the head gets to the top, then you could give them long string. But they didn't make them that way. But yeah, see, these ones have a long but still, even with lawn string, he still does that thing. So they're always going to snap, no matter how many times you replace the string. I mean, after like thousands and thousands of activations, but like again, the reason why it does it when it does that is because again, it cuts at the string when it changes direction, because it runs out of string line. So when it changes direction, it goes through a piece and it cuts at the string. That's why. And the Grim Reaper, like, you can give them long string. Their heads are light enough and they have enough time for the head to get back to the top without them going down like that. See, their heads aren't heavy like those ones. But even other ones that have the same soundtrack as the Grim Reapers, like the Floating Skeleton, the one with the cheesecloth, the really long cheesecloth, the brown face, like that one, even though it has the same board, that one's head is too heavy, so it never gets to the top. So yeah, again, there's nothing you can do. Again, they didn't make it to where if they just would have made like some type of relay switch in there so that it would stop the motors once the head got to the top, then you could make it to where they wouldn't snap. But because of that, you always have to give them short string, and they're always going to do exactly what causes them to snap. And I don't think Gemmy Industries realized that was going to make them snap either, because, I mean, I'm sure they didn't test them like 5,000 times to make sure. It's just owning these since second grade. I know that's what causes them to snap, because I grew up with these. I bought every single one I saw in stores. And it was always, they all snapped except, again, my original Grim Reaper, those ones just never snapped. Because they just didn't make them like that, like they did later on. And even though they continued to make the string short in like the later ones, they didn't do that with the later Grim Reapers or Ghosts. So it's weird that they did it with the female Ghost and other ones, but like literally the ones with the Laughing Screaming soundtrack, they only gave it like 2 seconds to reset at the end. That's not long enough. Like, that's why you can't give them long string. The thing is, if you put like this on a Laughing Screaming soundtrack, if you give it long string, it'll actually work because the head's light enough. That's what I mean. The heads were just too heavy for some of these. Like some of them, it doesn't even matter how long they did program them to retract back up. The heads are just the heads being so heavy, just makes it really difficult for them. Anyways, I hope you understand. I think it's hard for you guys to understand what I'm talking about. Like, I feel like you guys might not understand what I'm trying to explain. And I understand. I suck at explaining shit. It's easier for me to show than explain because the words just don't make sense whenever I talk. Anyways, but the Black Witch, I think, might be able to work again. It's just the corrosion went through the wire, so I have to replace the wire. I know the pirate one's fried because I connected it to this and it still didn't work. Also, I saw it quit working too. I saw that it was acting up, and as soon as I went up, it just completely stopped and it never worked ever again. So I know it fried. But look, it was corroded too. And it wasn't even corroded that bad on the outside. Same with the witch. Look, you can tell it's corroded on the inside, and again, it went through the wire. But look, the outside contacts, they're fine. I think they might have been corroded before, though. I don't remember if I had Lucas's dad clean it. I don't remember. Anyways, but yeah. Also, don't ever buy them off eBay if it's from 2006 or under. If they're from 2007 and they're brand new in box and never been used, you can buy them because they used a battery pack that they plugged in for the demo mode where you push the button and it just plays the sound. But before 2007, they actually put batteries in them. And so if you ever see them listed on eBay as never been opened, never been used, do not buy it. It is going to be so badly corroded that the whole board will be shot. I bought a Floating Ghost from 2002 where they never took out the batteries. That thing was shot. These stupid eBay sellers think that since they're new, like they're gonna work, but the fact that they failed to realize that if they didn't remove the batteries, they were gonna corrode, so they're useless. So again, you're better off buying used ones because if you buy one that's brand new in box, it's gonna be ruined. Because I mean, if you buy a used one, yes, it is gonna snap sooner than a brand new one, but unless it's like I said, the Ghost or the Grim Reaper, but you're not gonna be able. But at least you'll be able to repair it. You know, if it's corroded, you aren't going to be able to repair it. Not that badly. Batteries being in there since 2002, 2005. I got a 2005 Grim Reaper from someone in 2016, and that was beyond repair. Like the corrosion was so bad in it, it was terrible. You don't buy one that's brand new in the box. Never, if it's before 2007, because again, these ones have the battery pack, but. Also, of course, back then when these were first made, split gears weren't a problem, but nowadays, those gears are starting to split in these as well, the motor shaft gears, just like everything else. Again, gear splitting happens with age. It's not by how much the item was used. Trust me, all my old Floating Ghosts, again, from 2004, that's when I got my first Floating Ghost. 2004 all the way to like 2000, like 12 or 13 is when I kind of stopped using them every single day of the year, 24/7. Yeah, the gears never split back then, but they're split now in a lot of them because again, they're old. So, but yeah, and it's sad to think that a lot of my original old Floating Ghost pulls are in better shape. Well, they're not in better shape, at least the pole part, but the inside, like the motors are kind of weak and stuff, but like I don't it's sad that my like newer Floating Ghosts are failing more than my original ones, the ones that have been used for 8 years straight of constant use, whereas all these newer ones have maybe 2 days of constant use max, not even that much. I don't use these Floating Ghosts as much anymore because I don't want them to keep breaking, because I mean they do get slower and slower each time you fix them. They start moving slower and slower each time. So, and you know what else was weird is I always used rechargeable batteries in them back then. I never ever used alkaline because these things are dead in 2 hours. It doesn't matter what brand you use, like unless you use lithium, which I wouldn't recommend because that sometimes can fry them too, because it's too much power. But it I Energizer, Duracell, they're dead in 2 hours. It doesn't matter. Like those are cheap Chinese batteries in that one, and you see they're already low. And that was the very first test of it too that I just did. So that shows you these drain batteries really, really fast. But the thing is with chargeable batteries, when I look at my old videos, they moved so slow. And usually I consider their batteries being low when the lights on the pole flash, when their motors change direction. That's when I consider their batteries are low. Like, I'll show you. See how they flash when the motors change direction? That's how I consider that their batteries are low. And when I used chargeables, they never did that unless their batteries actually were low. But I noticed that they moved a lot slower with their chargeables, and I think that might have killed their motors back then, because when I first got my first floating witch from Walmart and my green-eyed reaper, because those two were sold together that year, I never ever used alkaline on them. I used chargeables right away. All my floating ghosts, I just went straight to using chargeables. And they didn't, like, when I started rebuying these in 2015, or 16, that's when I started recollecting floating ghosts again, getting new ones. When I haven't used chargeables on rechargeables since 2013, because all my rechargeables lost charge because I charged them a million times each. But they moved so much faster than what my originals did, and that's because the chargeables. That's the only, because if I would have used rechargeables on my originals, I bet you they would have moved a lot faster than what they looked like on the videos. Because when I got that floating Grim Reaper with the red light up eyes from Chris Sauls, that thing moved. That was probably the fastest floating ghost I've ever seen, and that was the first one I got when I started recollecting these and using alkaline on it. That thing moved so fast, and that's how fast they all would have probably went. But again, I always use chargeables, and I guess it seems that the chargeables made their motors kind of weak, because it just, looking back at my videos again, it just seems like they didn't move as fast as they do now, because all the ones I've gotten since then move so fast whenever I put alkaline. Like, especially, remember the 2008 models, some of their hands move so slow, because that's the year that they changed the mechanism. There's not an individual motor for each hand. It's one motor that has a rail that goes across the entire bar. Those motors were faulty because a lot of them, the hands barely moved at all. Well, a lot of those that have been getting over have been a lot faster. And again, I'm starting to think it was really the chargeables affecting all of those, but I don't know. I just don't use rechargeables on these anymore. But it just sucks that you have, like when you're doing a display, it sucks that you just have to change them every 2 hours. Because, well, it's either they run dead or they snap. They usually snap, though, by the time their batteries are low, too. The sad thing is you couldn't really get these without them snapping before their batteries die for, like, the first time. Because actually, that floating skeleton with the lawn cloth, the cheesecloth, the first day I got that one in 2018, he snapped too. The first day. And that was just like 3-4 hours of you going. Like, by the end of the day, I had brand new batteries in it. By the end of the day, the batteries were low, and it's string broke. So you get like one use of batteries out of them before they snap, it seems like. Again, I don't know how much the previous person who had them used them, but definitely not as much as I did. Anyways, I'm done here. I think you guys are probably annoyed, but whatever. I think if you guys really were annoyed, you wouldn't even be watching in the first place by me talking. So, well, I hope you learned a few more things about the floating ghost. I don't know if this video helped anything, or I don't know if you learned anything else, but hope you did at least. Anyways, yeah.